Morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. March 28th. We're going to go ahead and call our meeting to order, and we'll start. Mark, if you could lead us in the pledge, please.
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we want the item number 3, roll call.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Sharon Trask.
I'm here. We want to item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. 4.1, do we have any correspondence?
We do. The Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent in the following: a notice of cannabis license applications received for Triple R Farms and Resonate LLC. Change of cannabis license application approval received for Wilbur Industries LLC. Notice of liquor license application received for Olympic Oyster Company. Notice to cannabis license firearms and liquor and cannabis license renewal information. County Auditor Steve Dunkel sent in a response to Anna Wood's petition request for a comprehensive process audit of the election. Mason County Community Services sent in a notice of public hearing to consider the application of MTT Development LLC to create a 36-lot residential subdivision in the Shelton Urban Growth Area. And Public Utility District 3 sent in notice regarding service pole inspection, testing, and treatment.
Great, thank you. Let's move on to item 4.2, the National County Government Month Proclamation. Commissioner Netherland, would you read that for me?
Definitely not ready for that. You mind? Go ahead, Kevin.
Sure, you want to do 4.4 switch?
Yeah.
Okay. Proclamation for National County Government Month, April 2023. Whereas the nation's 3,069 counties serve more than 330 million Americans, serving more than 330 million Americans provide essential services to create healthy, safe, and vibrant communities. Whereas counties fulfill a vast range of responsibilities and deliver services that touch nearly every aspect of our residents' lives, such as providing health services, administering justice, keeping communities safe, fostering economic opportunities, and so much more. And whereas Mason County and all counties take pride in our responsibility to protect and enhance the health, well-being, and safety of our residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. And whereas under the leadership of National Association of Counties President Denise Winfrey, NACO is demonstrating how counties rise, demonstrating exemplary resiliency, inclusion, solvency, and empowerment. And whereas each year since 1991, the National Association of Counties has encouraged counties across the country to elevate awareness of county responsibilities, programs, and services. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Mason County Commissioners hereby proclaims April 2023 as National County Government Month and encourages all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to participate in county government celebration activities signed this day of March 28th, 2023.
Wow. All right, now let's move on to item number 4.3. Request for proposal of the homeless response grant funds, and ask Melissa to come forward, please.
Okay, Mason County Public Health and Human Services is pleased to announce the request for proposal application for homeless response grant is now open for 2023 to 2025 grant term. The homeless response grant program includes funds from the Consolidated Homeless Grant, CHG, and the local document recording fees in Gross Second Substitute House Bill 2163, administered by Mason County. Mason County Public Health and Human Services is responsible for contracting and compliance activities related to these homeless response funds. These funds provide resources to agencies that respond to the immediacy and urgency of homelessness and make sure that everyone has a safe and appropriate place to live. Mason County Public Health and Human Services is committed to supporting agencies that have a primary objective of ending homelessness in Mason County. The RFP application materials can be found on the Mason County website under request for proposals at www.masoncountywa.gov. Contact person is Todd Parker. Phone 360-427-9670, extension 293. Email tparker@masoncountywa.gov.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item 4.4, the National Public Health Week proclamation.
And we apologize, it wasn't in my book, so we're still in the chair's, so let's get this done. Proclamation, National Public Health Week, April 3rd through the 9th, 2023. Whereas the week of April 3rd through the 9th, 2023 is National Public Health Week, and the theme is centering and celebrating cultures in health. And whereas since 1995, the American Public Health Association, through its sponsorship of National Public Health Week, has educated the public, policymakers, and public health professionals about issues important to improving the public's health. And whereas a person's health status can differ drastically due to differences in the built environment, environmental quality, community context, access to health, food, access to education, and access to health care. And whereas there is a significant decrease in health status among persons who are more likely to face social determinations that negatively impact health, such as racism, poverty, adverse childhood experiences, transportation barriers, and lack of economic opportunity. And whereas public health professionals help communities prevent, prepare for, withstand, and recover from the impact of a full range of health threats, including disease outbreaks such as COVID-19 pandemic, tuberculosis, natural disasters, disasters caused by human activity. And whereas public health action together with scientific and technological advances have played a major role in reducing and eliminating the spread of infectious disease and establishing today's disease surveillance and control system. And whereas studies have shown that relatively small strategic investments in disease prevention can result in significant savings in healthcare costs. And whereas efforts to adequately support public health and prevention of disease and injury can continue to transform a health system focused on treating illness into a health system focused on preventing disease and injury and promoting wellness. And now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Mason County Commissioners hereby proclaims April 3rd through 9th, 2023 as National Public Health Week and encourages all county officials, employees, schools, and residents to observe this week by celebrating the value of public health in improving the quality of life for all communities. Signed this day, March 28, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you. Love that.
Well, it was small, but we got it.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to item number 5. This is the time we set aside for public comment. A limit of 15 minutes total, 3 minutes per person. And we have a hand up in the Zoom room. Ken.
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me?
Can you state your name and where you're from?
Yes, Ken Van Buskirk. I live in Belfair. I apologize I'm not able to attend in person. I really appreciate having the opportunity to utilize Zoom. First, I'd like to thank you for getting a Sandhill Park host. We've been having some obvious folks living in their cars in the parking lot there, and consequently there's been trespassing on to our and our neighbor's property, and I really think that that's a good thing to have somebody in there. Thank you. But secondly, back last fall, when you were going through that plat approval here in Belfair, I discovered 2 significantly different WSDOT approved traffic impact analyses for that Ridgetop Boulevard SR3 intersection. And in January, I sent you all and Mr. Larson of WSDOT an email, but so far I've only heard from you all assuring me that something will be done. And I know it takes a while to get things done, but even if the freight corridor is completed by 2028, hopefully, that's 5 more years of congestion and delay. And in my opinion, I think those 2 different TIAs need to be investigated and someone should be held accountable. This mitigation that I'm suggesting, it needs to happen as soon as possible. And I know you folks are aware of that. So that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ken. Do we have anyone else that would like to address the commission? All right. Seeing none, we will move on to item number 6, adoption of agenda.
Madam Chair, I move adoption of today's agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adopt the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Moving on to item number 7, approval of minutes.
Madam Chair, I move for the approval of the February 28th and March 14th, 2023 regular minutes and the March 6th and March 13th, 2023 briefing minutes as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the February 28th and March 14th, 2023 regular minutes and March 6th and March 13th, 2023 briefing minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, moving on to item number 8. Approval of the action agenda. Commissioners will read through the agenda. Items can be removed after we read for separate discussion or vote. Commissioner Shuey, if you could take item 8.1 through 8.4. Commissioner Nalone, if you could take items 8.5 through 8.9, and I will take items 8.10 through 8.15.
Madam Chair, item 8.1, approval of warrants and treasurer electronic remittances, claims clearing fund warrant numbers 809-4208 through 809-4650 in the amount of $1,116,680.03. Direct deposit fund warrant numbers 94410 through 94810 in the amount of $856,838.63. Salary clearing fund warrant numbers 700-7205 through 700-7228 in the amount of $1,143,293.79. And treasurer electronic remittance in the amount of $284,431.84. Item 8.2, approval of the resolution amending the county administrator's level of authority to include documents to correct scrivener's errors, credit card program documents, and documents from the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board. Item 8.3, approval of the amendment to the memorandum of understanding with Homes First, raising the management fee by $100 a month from $1,000 to $1,100, effective February 1st, 2023. And item 8.4, approval of the resolution selecting the Shelton Mason County Journal as the official county newspaper for publishing certain legal publications.
Madam Chair, item number 8.5 reads approval for the county administrator to sign the fiscal year 2022 Emergency Management Performance Grant, EMPG, contract number E23-206 in the amount of $39,012. Item number 8.6. Approval of the temporary promotion of Corrections Support Officer CSO Brad McQuaid to Alternative Sentencing Unit ASU Coordinator from March 16, 2023 through May 17, 2023 at Corrections Deputy Range Step 2. Item number 8.7, approval of the amendment to the Washington State Department of Ecology Solid Waste Grant, adding an additional $40,000 in funding. Item number 8.8, approval to appoint Becky Cronquist to the Mason County Housing Authority Board of Commissioners for a 5-year term which expires March 28, 2028. Item number 8.9, approval to appoint Dennis Hamilton to the Mason County Parks and Trails Advisory Board for a 4-year term which expires December 31st, 2027.
Item 8.10, approval of the resolution revising the non-represented salary range table to update classification titles and ranges. Item 8.11, approval to move forward with the Office of the Secretary of State Information Security Grant and any procurement process as necessary. Item 8.12, approval to create an extra help budget line under the clerk's office. Item 8.13, approval to sign the letter of support to the Senate Transportation Committee regarding the State Route 3 corridor. Having read through the action agenda, are there any items that you'd like to be removed for separate discussion or vote?
Not me.
Any items from anyone in the room? No? Any items in the Zoom room? Can I see your hand is up?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to ask that the consent item 8.13.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right. Seeing none? Do we have a motion?
I'm sure I move approval of the action agenda as read with the exception of item 8.13, which is removed for a separate discussion and vote.
Have a second?
All right, we have a motion to approve the action agenda as presented with the exception of item 8.13 for separate discussion and vote. Call for the vote.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, let's move on to item 8.13, approval to sign the letter of support to the Senate Transportation Committee regarding the State Route 3 corridor. And ask staff, Mark, would you like to let us know what this is all about?
Absolutely. So this is a letter of support that has been approved by the county commissioners to the Senate Chair of the Transportation Committee, Mark Elias, encouraging the Senate to include the plan to build the corridor. In the time period of 2023 through 2029. So in the governor's budget, they had pushed the project out to 2035-37 biennium. Looks like the House has actually moved a portion of it back into current times. And this is a letter to the Senate from the commissioners asking them to honor that project, continue to move forward on it within the current timelines.
Great, thank you. Commissioners,
No questions.
no question? All right, any question?
Comment after the public has a chance to weigh in.
All right, any questions from anyone in the room or the Zoom room?
I didn't have any questions, ma'am, but I do have a comment.
All right, let's move on into comments.
Okay, this is Ken Van Buskirk from Belfair. I just wanted to refresh your memories a little bit. Back in late 2004, the original Belfair sub-area plan was approved. And Commissioner Netherland, you will remember standing next to me in that boardroom. That's before the wall was there. It was all the way out to the front entrance. It was overflowing with people. And we presented a 1,000 signature petition to those commissioners, basically to build the bypass before widening SR3. That was perhaps the most contentious part of the plan at that time. Two of the lame duck commissioners approved the plan, with the newly elected commissioner voting nay to it. So here it is 20 years later, almost. This is wonderful news. After reading the letter, I want to commend Loretta and all the staff and yourselves for putting this together. I've asked that this letter be forwarded to all the elected bodies in North Mason. And I would encourage you to send another similar letter to the governor and to our federal legislators as well. This will be a legacy project that our community, our children, our grandchildren will all benefit from, and it can happen under your leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Commissioners, any discussion?
Yeah, so just absolutely supportive of signing on to this letter, and appreciate Ken's comments. Ken's right. I mean, 20 years has gone by, and the clock is still ticking, and our constituents have been paying into the nickel gas tax and the gas tax increase in 2015. In order to get this project funded, and lo and behold, last session, we passed another gas tax increase, and we still don't have dirt turning on the corridor yet. And I think it's frustrating for me, frustrating certainly for the commission, and most of all frustrating for people who have to go through Belfair, and have to deal with the ramifications of the state delaying time and time again. And this is absolutely a state project. It should be a state project. It's funded through state gas tax dollars. They need to follow through on their commitment to Mason County and our region in order to get this project done. That's the doom and gloom side of it. Positive side of it is we do have champions for this project in the legislature, which is a good thing. Senator Elias has been supportive of this project. Anticipate this being refunded or funded again in the Senate transportation budget. We saw that there was funding put back into it in the House, and so we have support from Representative Jake Fye in the House as well, chairing the House Transportation Committee. And so the governor made his decisions with his budget. Now the legislature, who controls the purse strings, are going to weigh in. They're gonna hopefully continue to champion this project. This letter is a way to say thank you, and don't let up on the fight. Our community is counting on this. We're counting on this. It's a safety project. It's an economic development project. It's a regional mobility project. It checks every single box that DOT claims to prioritize. And so appreciate having these champions on our side in the legislature, as well as our own legislative delegation championing this project. And so I'll be happy to sign on to this letter, but recognizing to Ken's point, we can't let up until the road is built. We'll be back here doing this again next session, and the session after, and the session after, until we see this road built. So Ken, to you and your neighbors, don't give up, keep pushing our legislators, keep pushing the governor, keep pushing DOT. And I think together we can get this project built.
This project, as you can imagine, is extremely important to me. Although Ken mentions us being in this room 20 years ago regarding this project has been on the books since the 50s. And we've not been able to get it through. It's become a county project, a state project, county project, state project. The truth of the matter is it's too big, and it's a state highway. It's just too big for a county to do in the first place. Interesting thing about it is, as was mentioned, it was in the gas tax over and over again. I remember when it was in the 5-cent gas tax that they did, then they pulled it out of there after doing a few environmental things and let us know that, well, it wasn't officially there, it was just a placeholder in it. When they did the one here in 15, I went to work real hard on that in many different ways. And even though I'm not a supporter of gas taxes, on that one, I knew it was going to happen. So it only made sense that we had our share. So we worked real hard. We created that West Sound Alliance. We worked real hard and actually had it put into the law when they were doing the gas tax. They wrote it out. They had it fully included as a project supposed to be paid for at this time. And then they tried to change their word again. Over and over again, we were asked to pay a tax for this and to pay a tax for that. And over again, people say, I don't believe them. When we see this happen over and over again to us, when they promised us it would be there, if we would support it, if we would move it, it's in the law this time, they explained to us, and then try to change their mind and pull back on the word again. It leaves a trust issue that we've always had, but it can always change. We can always gain trust back. We just would follow through with what they promised. I want to thank you, because if I'm not mistaken, you're the one that wrote this. This was your idea to have this included, Commissioner, and I very much appreciate it. And I can tell you my community very much appreciates it. And as Kevin just said, Commissioner Schutte, the only way this ever going to get done is if we don't let up, if we keep inching and clawing one little piece at a time. Eventually it has to happen. We can always outlast them. Eventually, that's been my secret in life, just outlast them. Well, I think we're just going to have to keep doing that. So thank you for your work on that, Commissioner.
Yeah, this is such an important issue for Mason County and also for Kidda, our neighbor. It is a safety issue, and it will help so many people in so many different ways. So excited that we're getting this transportation letter out, and we also want to just change the name on there to include the governor.
So you'd like to add the governor as a CC or
No,
direct?
I think it would be best if we send him a letter.
Include that in the motion.
All right, any other comments?
Madam Chair, I move for the approval to sign a letter of support addressed to the governor of the state of Washington, the Washington State Senate Transportation Committee, also regarding the State Route 3 freight corridor.
We're sending it to everybody but the House. We also want to just send it to the House.
And to include the House of Representatives.
Can't forget our friends in the lower chamber. With that amendment, I would second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the letter of support to the governor of the state of Washington, the State Senate Transportation Committee, and the House of Representatives regarding the State Route 3 corridor. Any further discussion? All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Didn't think there'd be any. Great. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, let's move on to item number 9. This is other business departments and department heads and elected officials. Do we have any that would like to address the commission?
Two of us.
Any in the Zoom room? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 11. No, wait, sorry. Item number 10, we have no public hearing scheduled. So now let's move on to item number 11, board calendars and reports. As Commissioner Nevin, will go first, Commissioner Shooty, and then I'll follow.
Yeah, at North Basin Chamber of Commerce meetings and meeting with different individuals through the community in regards to economic development out there. Met with the Mason County Housing Authority, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney, Mason Transit Authority, Republic Services. I attended the Lincoln Day dinner where two commissioners were together. We did not discuss any business, and we made sure that it was officially noticed in case it got missed on the last one. Coming up, we have a Board of Health meeting. I will be attending for several days training and education and meetings for our risk pool. 2 different celebrations of life for Tweed and McFarland. Incredible people in the community. It's always sad. I'm getting tired of attending these celebrations of life, but when you love these people in the community, you have to show your face. But I gotta tell you, it'd be nicer if we didn't have to anymore. I'd like to break. Peninsula Regional Transportation Organization executive meeting. Legislative update meeting. I have a pancake breakfast up in Tahuya. The happening at the senior center will be happening up at the hub. I also, in regards to the Belfair bypass, I'm going to be meeting with the Governor's Secretary of Transportation. I have one-on-one meeting with him. One of the things they've tried to do is shift what they're calling safety issues and not build new things. I want to take the time to express the different safety issues that we have regarding that bypass. The idea that when they're going to close the bridge here shortly, all those people have to go through Belfair and have to go through that same corridor that they're talking about. When there's any type of catastrophe or anything like that, like when the train derailed down south, they all had to come through Belfair and through that same corridor. If there's ever a catastrophe of any types, there's 2 railways that would collapse or could collapse at that area, stopping transportation from coming from the shipyard or anything south. If they were to go down, having the bypass goes around that. This safety aspect of this may have been lost, and so they're going to take that opportunity to meet with the Secretary of Transportation, who is pushing for safety and the replacement of new construction for safety projects, to explain just how important this is. It's economic development, but much more than that. They have the great shakedown. It was established that is the corridor for moving all your safety, all your emergency management. It's just the one. There isn't other ones. So hopefully they will recognize that and won't have any issue, because there's always a fear that even if you get pushed through, it disappears through a line item veto. So that brings us back and we'll start all over again.
Going forward today, we also have Board of Health, and then I'll be attending the city council meeting in part tonight to send Jeff Knighton off. Wish him all the best in his new endeavors at Mount Lake Terrace. And then later on this week, YMCA meeting, Rotary dinner to their annual bottle auction. So I'll be attending that, as well as the Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Policy Coordinating Group meeting, quarterly meeting, the Transforming Our Communities Planning meeting, and then have a behavioral health meeting with Mason Health and some other local stakeholders. Also have the Broadband Action Team meeting. I'll be also connecting with Comcast's government affairs rep, who is Mr. Trask. Remember Vince Bies from his time in the legislature. He's on to bigger and better things with our friends at Comcast. So we'll be talking about internet availability and their plans with the Broadband Action Team. Also have the Thurston Mason Interlocal Leadership Meeting, which is our behavioral health provider network meeting with managed care organizations. Might be attending the legislative virtual update on the 7th, out for the Easter holiday, and then back for briefings on the 10th, which I also have Mason Crisis Services System of Care Work Group, and then my bi-weekly check-in with the administration team at the BHASL.
Great, thank you. So later this afternoon, of course, we do have our Board of Health meeting. I will also be attending the city meeting tonight to say farewell to Jeff and wish him the best of luck in his new adventures. I will have coffee with the constituent tomorrow. Tomorrow evening is the LSC roundtable. My nephew's birthday is on Thursday. Happy birthday, Damien. LSC meeting Thursday, also Public Works Board Executive Committee meeting. Sheriff's breakfast on Friday, Public Works Board Traditional Committee meeting, dinner with friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. I'm super excited about that one. And then we're gonna have our briefing, WASPAC virtual assembly. I'll be meeting with Nate Daniel with Great Peninsula Conservancy. We have the EDC legislative meeting on Tuesday. Wednesday is the Republican Women meeting at noon. And then Public Works Board meeting on Friday. LSC meeting, ribbon cutting for Bradley Air on Friday the 7th. And then we're back for our briefing and then commission. And then don't forget Sunday the 9th this evening. Okay, anything else? No?
Madam Chair, we adjourn. Second.
We are adjourned.